Welcome back to your favorite weirdo horror movie nerds podcast, Chopping It Up. We hope you enjoyed our Prime Cuts schlock horror extravaganza. And if you haven't checked those mini episodes out yet, please go ahead and do so. In the meantime, we're super excited to be back and to bring you another full-length CIU episode. This week, we're examining Danny Boyle's groundbreaking 2002 film, 28 Days Later. We're pairing that with Boyle's latest entry in the franchise, 2025's 28 Years Later. Along with screenwriter Alex Garland, these two pick up where they left off several decades later, and viewers are taken on quite a ride as the rage virus continues to plague the English mainland. These two bring us a number of interesting stylistic choices, some zombie trope innovations, some truly wonderful acting from cast members, and a breadth of complex social, political, and interpersonal themes. But before we are chopping it up, let me introduce myself. I am your host, Jesse Goodman, and I'm joined by my own familiar group of rage virus victims. His massive dong makes the alpha zombie's monstrous dick look like a puny pink earthworm. Intrepid field reporter and co-host Michael Sled joins us.
I thought that was going to be about Joel.
Nah, dude, no way, man. You know, Joel's got a tiny little fallacy down there. Amid the raging fires, Molotov cocktails, the dystopian maelstrom of omnipresent street crime and wanton violence, joining us from the war-torn streets of downtown Portland, Oregon, please welcome co-host and executive producer Miss Jeannie Simone. While the true origin of the disease is murky, I have it on good authority that the caged chimpanzees were in fact first infected by a human host. Please welcome to the show veteran co-host and rage virus patient zero, Mr. Joel Reeves.
You call him a chimp fucker?
Don't yuck my yum.
Grab your machete, load up the car with groceries, and prepare to flee the city, buddies. We got a rage virus to escape, so let's get to it. All right, first impressions and meat cleaver ratings, of course, on a scale of 1 to 5 meat cleavers. How many meat cleavers do you give each movie? 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. Well, let's go. Let's go Joel. Let's go Sled. Let's go Jeannie, and then I'll bring up the rear. Joel,
right.
First tell us if you'd seen either or both of them previously.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously seen 20. Well, maybe not obviously, but I've seen 28 Days Later. I saw it when it came out. I love that movie. I think it's great. Of the modern kind of fast-moving zombies, right?
Right.
Like I think it is the best of them.
Well, we did our first episode on the Dawn of the Dead and the remake, and we talked about zombies, right? Yeah. And that being the first modern zombie, like the creation of the fast zombie.
So what is a zombie? Is that
basically fast-moving zombie?
Instead of like the shambling, slow burn of these shuffling corpses.
And just to call it out, like technically they're not zombies because they're not dead, right? Like because zombies are dead, these are not.
Well,
there's really no
distinction without a difference. Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I'd seen 28 Days Later. I've always really, really liked it. I think the first 20 minutes of the movie is about as compelling as you could make a zombie movie, right? Like seeing London empty is so weird. And obviously 28 Years Later is very new. So I saw it, like, I bought it, right? As soon as it came out on for purchase. And I liked it too. I think it's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I like it quite as much as 28 Days Later. I think the original is a little bit, well, one, it's a bigger innovator because it's the original, and two, I think it flows a little better. Like as a film, each of the segments kind of work a little more fluidly. 28 Years Later feels a little more broken to me, but I still like it a lot. So I would give 28 Days Later probably like a 4.4, and maybe like a 4 to 28 Years Later for me.
All right. Sled, what'd you think? And had you seen either or both prior to this?
I hadn't seen either movie before this. I really liked them. I thought they were good. I'm going to rate them kind of like in line with each other because they are connected to each other. It's not so much. It's not like you're talking about two separate movies per se. I think I would give. I think I would give the first one. I give them about the same. I give them both like 3.75. And it's interesting, actually. It's probably the first. I don't know if I've watched two movies closely enough to where I saw them to where the everything about them was amazing, except some of the writing and the plot and what actually happens is in it bothered. Like it's just like, and it's too. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like.
Yeah.
The performances by all the like it's the weird like it's the funny like and it's like the actors are incredible, like the actors are fucking
Absolutely.
like there's like the performances by the actors are great, the direction is great, the cinematography is awesome, like the music is awesome, like there's just like so many good things about them, and then there's parts of the actual plot and story that I'm like but it's like the rest of it is good enough that I ignore it. I guess I still like like I like the movies, but it's like there's parts of them that I'm just but it also maybe there's something they're going for that I wasn't missing. But yeah, 3.75 for each. I think I would get like. I mean, it's one of the best sequels. I mean, the things about the sequel are actually different from the things I don't know. It's we'll get it more into the discussion later. But yeah, they're good movies.
Yeah.
Before,
That's strong.
I forgot to say this, Jesse.
Yeah.
The ad campaign. I meant to say this because I'd like to get everybody else's thoughts on this. The ad campaign for 28 Years Later, where it's the Rudyard Kipling poem of Boots and like snippets of that's a 5 out of 5. That's like spectacular. That was the creepiest shit. So I went in with really high hopes, and I largely met it. Sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah.
I had seen 28 Days Later. I probably when it came out, not to be confused with the Sandra Bullock 28 Days, where she's trying to get sober. I think a friend of mine made that. A friend of mine
also
made that mistake.
Also terrifying. Yes.
Yeah. And I forgot how good it was when I was watching it. I think it does something that a lot of zombie movies don't do, which is kind of like that next step, in terms of what we can get into it more. I don't want to spoil it yet. But when they get to the place that they're going to, it was kind of like they answered that question of like, well, what happens next and what everybody thinks should happen in a post-apocalyptic world. I'm going to give it a 4.2. I really think, especially with the filming and just the cinematography, it made you feel unsettled the whole movie. Like the angles of it, shooting through different like windows and seeing reflections.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's crazy. It's crazy because it feels so claustrophobic at times, but it's so expansive. Yeah. Like you're in these small spaces, but you're also in this larger empty city now. I don't know. It captures that duality in a pretty interesting way, I thought.
Yeah. I did not see 28 Years Later because I do not subscribe to the bougie Netflix plan. And I didn't realize it wasn't showing up as something I could rent until it was
this show is for people that have money.
Oh, you know what? We should hit Jazz up. He should give us all fucking Christmas bonuses or something.
We need a rental fund for entertainment per diem.
That's right.
All right, we're starting up a GoFundMe for all UCIU. If sled heads out there, we need to raise money. All right. Well, I'd seen both. Excuse me, I'd seen both movies. I hadn't seen 28 Days Later in a bunch of years, so rewatching it was an interesting experience. And 28 Years Later, I'd seen when it first came out. But I think Joel, we talked about it, the Zombie thing in the first episode. So just bringing that back was like fun to watch because I think audiences back in the day were comfortable with it was sort of like this inevitability that the zombies would overtake this slow moving horde of zombies. It was about not if you could kill one, you could kill one, but there was 2 more behind them. And then you kill those and there was 10 more behind them. And it was just like being slowly constricted by like a snake or something, right? That's the feeling you got. So as the movie dragged on, you were just waiting for this crew of survivors or whoever to get overwhelmed. This is different where Boyle is able to inject a sense of immediacy into almost every scene, every interaction, every altercation with any of the infected. At some point they could just, they break out into a sprint and you got to make it up 15 flights of stairs or whatever. And like funny coming off of major knee surgery and I'm hardly ambulatory. It's like, holy shit, dude. That's it, man. Like it's not the shambling corpses where you can maybe get away if you're strategic about it. Like you're done. That's it. You better break into a dead sprint. I liked that. I mean, it created legitimate fear at various points for me. I found a lot of it the way it was shot, like you were saying, Jeannie. This is this sort of cusp of digital film, and it's very gritty. It's grainy. It actually didn't reproduce well. If you look at it, it looks very grainy.
No, it didn't.
It feels.
I was like, this
it feels
there's
like
no HD.
It feels like found footage documentary like at some point. It almost like you're watching something real. It's really good stuff. It's a classic. I gave it 4.4 meat cleavers. Joel, add that one up. For 28 years, and I've always, this is another theory that, Joel and I have cultivated. I've always thought about when a movie's made and then a sequel is made with like a long amount of time between the two, 2 decades, 3 decades, that it can go either one of 2 ways. It's either a horrible idea and the latest iteration is some sort of abysmal film, like think like Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, waiting that long. Or what's that?
That's a remake. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. All right. Well, same difference. The same theory, right? Like you have this film that you love, and that many years later you're going to do something with. You're going to build a sequel. You're going to make a remake of it. However, you're going to reimagine it, a reboot or whatever. And it's either going to be wonderful or it's going to be awful. And I felt like this was a wonderful homage to the original. It falls sort of obviously in the latter category for me. It's a great new addition, full of world building and characters with like actual depth and complexity. And it's also like several films. It's like, what are those Russian nesting dolls? It's like several films inside of a zombie movie, right? So rewatching it, for prep during this ep, I kept seeing more and more layers each time I rewatch it. So it's great stuff. I'm giving it 4.555555 meat cleavers. So I actually rated it.
You liked it a little better.
I liked it better. I liked it better than the original. And I think part of it was, what Sled was getting at was like the writing at certain points, and we can really dive into this when we get into the general discussion. It's like the writing left something to be desired in both, but I think Garland got more time and had a bigger vision, if that's possible, for this one. And
Definitely
he was
had a
able,
bigger vision.
it was micro and macro. It was really personal. It was about a lot of, I don't want to get into all the themes. Anyways. All right. That's what we had.
I feel like they kind of missed the mark by 5 years and not actually releasing it 28 years later.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, but they're trying to make it. We'll do that. I mean,
yeah. That's like some Richard Linklater shit,
I agree with what you're saying, though.
All right, let's move to. We'll get into Joel's movie stats. Joel's going to provide background information on both films in terms of the cast and the crew and the money that it made domestically and internationally, all the filming locations, things like that. Jeannie, you get ready to cue this up. You got the. I know you probably don't have the music queued up.
I do.
All right, here we go. Our statistic guru.
Look at you out there talking shit.
I know. Mea culpa, I guess. Joel deserves a proper reintroduction, so let me put on my best Rick Rude voice and do him some justice. Here we go. First, I want all you red-eyed rage virus rednecks to stop your grunting and thrashing while I show you what a real full English breakfast of Frank's beans looks like. Jeannie, hit the music.
You should have
good to be
told him you
back.
were going to give him the real red eye.
Damn it! I was trying to play Sled. You could overtake me in the Rick Rude intros if you're up for it, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not up for anything.
All right, hit it, Joel. What do you got?
All right, so I'll go through this pretty quick.
Hey, Joel, lean closer, a little closer to your mic. We want to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I'll go through this pretty quick because I think we all want to get to the general discussion. How's that?
Yeah.
You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
All right, so 28 Days Later came out in 2002. Danny Boyle was the director. So just for reference for people, Danny Boyle, obviously known for 28 Days Later, but also known for being the director for 127 Hours, Slumdog Millionaire, are probably two of the big ones. And then you've got the writer, Alex Garland. And let me get his stuff to come up. So he is known for writing Ex Machina, Annihilation, Men, and Civil War. Now, I haven't seen Civil War yet. I've seen everything else on that list. Men I thought was okay, but Annihilation is really good, and Ex Machina is great. I really enjoyed that. So, let's see. And then the cinematographer was Anthony Dodd. What's the last name? Sorry, it's cut off. Mantle. So he was the cinematographer for Slumdog Millionaire, which that was beautifully shot. Antichrist, if you guys have ever seen that with Willem Dafoe, which is, I really enjoyed that movie. And then 127 Hours also. And The Last King of Scotland, which he might have won an award for that. I can't remember. So, and I'll get to it when we get to 28 Days Later, but this is a reunion of sorts for all of them. So producers of note, I mean, really nobody was like a big name in the producer category. There's a gentleman by the name of Andrew McDonald who ends up working on Ex Machina and Train Spotting. So that's probably where he got some of the money from, is Train Spotting. Runtime for 28 Days Later, 1 hour and 53 minutes. So it's fairly long for a zombie movie, especially.
Yeah.
But I don't really think you feel it too much. It's very tense, so it never really bothered me. So the budget was a lean $8 million, and it made almost $83 million, which that's technically what they call a shit ton of money. That's a 10.3 return on this, so that's a huge return on the investment on this film. It the IMDb score is a 7.5, which is real solid, and then the Metascore. So again, to remind everybody, the Metascore is the critics' reviews for all of this at the time when it came out. The Metascore is out of 100, and this was a 73, which is very well received. Let me switch over to the cast. Now, again, I just cover like the top 5.
Wait. I just think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention John Murphy, who did the score.
Oh yeah,
because it was a very slow build. Yeah, very tension inducing. Like that it's legit stuff. Real good.
I think I said the first 20 minutes is the best part of this movie, in my opinion. And a lot of that is just kind of, you barely hear the score in the background.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, but by the end, by the time they get to the point where they're blowing up the gas station, right? Yeah. It's thundering through it. And it's great.
Well, there's different acts to 28 Days, and there's different acts to 28 Years. Well, we can get into that later, but okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, the lead for 28 Days Later, although there's several leads, but I would say the main protagonist is Gillian Murphy. This is probably his first.
How'd you say his name, Joel?
Oh, what was
I knew that.
again?
I knew Sled was gonna knock.
It's not Killian.
It is
I,
Killian. You said?
I thought
Did
you
you?
said Gillian.
Yeah, I thought you said it.
No,
It's
it's
with it.
Killian.
Yes. Okay.
No, I got you. No, that's perfect.
Listen, don't yell at us, you Irish fuck. We want to make sure you get it right.
All right. So, anyways,
You didn't say
as I was
Skilton.
saying, he he. This is probably his first really big role, and like a major film or a film that really hit it big. He obviously got a bunch of other things. He's known for Peaky Blinders, Oppenheimer, The Dark Knight. He was Scarecrow in that. So there's just tons of stuff. He's a big star these days. Naomi Harris is his love interest, and the one who saves him. She is Eve in Skyfall, the James Bond movie. She's also in Spectre. I mean, she's Moneypenny, if you guys know who that character is. And then she's also in Moonlight. So big time stuff. And then you got Brendan Gleeson. So he's in a million things, but like In Bruges, Gangs of New York. He's in the Harry Potter movies, so a lot of stuff. Very recognizable actor as the father of the young girl, and she is played by an actress named Megan Burns. So she's very very young in the movie. I think she's like 12ish. She played in what looks to be a bunch of British TV shows, one called Liam and Undying Love, which is kind of a short, and a few other shorts, but not as big a career, at least thus far.
Yeah, I think Danny Boyle saw her in the one short film that she did prior to this, and loved her and was like, "I'll get her for this." And this was her only full length feature film. She retired from acting after that. She started
like her wiki says former actress.
She started a band. She started up a band. She was in a band for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah. She wasn't into it, and that's cool actually because I thought she nailed it. I thought she was great.
She was. She was really good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah. So you got Noah Huntley. I think would be the other major character who plays the. I think he's a lieutenant colonel at the end. So he's in Snow White and the Huntsman, The Chronicles of Narnia, and Event Horizon. He is the Burning Man in Event Horizon. So that's kind of interesting.
Episode what? What episode did we do? Shit, we did that.
I don't even remember.
Check it out.
Yeah, we definitely did that one. So then, hopping over to 28 years later. So that's in 2025. Same director, Danny Boyle. Again, it's a reunion for the trio.
Not actually 28 years later, though.
All right. 22? What is it, 25? I don't know.
23 years later. And so Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, and Anthony Dodd Mantle reunion. Basically, the people involved in the first film funded this. Right, so Cillian Murphy, Danny Boyle, Alec Garland, they all got together, pulled some money, and I'm sure, made out like bandits on this.
Yeah.
So this is an hour and 47 minutes. I do think it feels a little slower than 28 Days Later, even though it is technically longer. Shorter. I think that is largely because I don't think there's a lot of zombie kills in 28 Years Later. I think the only ones that die are the soldiers at one point. But I could be wrong about that. Whereas 28 Days Later, there's soldiers getting taken out left and right, and all sorts of stuff. So, but we can talk about that later. So the budget is much higher on
years.
Yeah, on years. It's $60 million. And I think part of that is location, right? Like the location in this is spectacular. and it costs money to set up
Wait,
there.
where do they
Also,
film?
what's it called? It's that little island, I gotta look it up, but it means like something of God. It's like Island of God or something.
Okay.
I'll look it up as we're talking. But it's up very north on the Isles in England.
What are you chuckling about, Sled?
Nothing.
All
All
right, go
right,
ahead, Joel.
so $60 million budget, and they made $150 million on the film. So not as high a ratio, but it's still a big take. So that's 2.5 in terms of that. This has been very well received critically, so it's a 77 Metascore. Um, Not as well received by the fans, but again, sometimes these things age better because the Metascores are a point in time, right? They're when the critics do their review in theaters, whereas the IMDb scores age as more and more people see the film and decide to do the ratings. So you may see that edge up over time, but right now it's a 6.6, so it is considerably lower than Days. So then, marching through the cast really quick, um, you've got Aaron Taylor Johnson, uh, known for Nocturnal Animals, Kick Ass 1 and 2. So, he's the father in this, I think it is. And then Alfie Williams plays Spike, the son. He's very, very young. So this is largely his first, I think actually his second movie, but it's his first big one. He did do a TV show called His Dark Materials, which I suspect is where they saw this guy or this young kid. He seemed to really nail it from my point of view. And then you got Jodie Comer, who is that Ilsa? I think that's Ilsa. And she's in The Last Duel and Free Guy of all things. Ugh, that movie's awful, but she's in that. So it's a pretty big movie. And then obviously you've got, two pretty well-known ones. I'll start with Jack O'Connell, who was in Unbroken, Startup. He just was in what's it called? The vampire movie.
Twilight.
No, it's escaping me. The newest one that.
Sinners.
Yeah, he's the main vampire in Sinners.
Oh, really?
Also,
I missed that.
Yeah,
He's the best guy in the whole movie.
Also, if you've ever seen a movie called Eden Lake, he's one of the kids in that. It's really messed up movie, but he's excellent.
I'll have to check it out because I like kids.
And then you've got Ray Fiennes. Obviously, he's been in everything, right? Like Red Dragon, Schindler's List, Coriolanus. I can't say it. Not Cunnilingus before you say it.
No.
That was cheap. I would
Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah, so I mean, and I really do. I mean, it's just my opinion. I think Ray Fiennes' role in this is really what sold me on the movie. Like, I loved his performance. I thought he was great. So let's see if there's any more stats. I think that's it. Let's see. Nope, that's it. End of segment.
Sled. Thank you, sir, Joel. Sled, you got something to add? You got any other cast crew?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I feel like we could parse out the crew and the cast for forever between these two, but I think Joel touched on the major things. Let's move right into general discussion. I think really where the meat and potatoes for this episode is going to be with these two films is all the themes going on. There's a lot going on. So here's where we we discuss how the films fit in with the culture at the time they were released, major themes. what they mean to contemporary culture now. You know, are they cult classics? Have they been forgotten? You know, what do they do for cinema? Do they refine or create horror tropes or subgenres? That all that kind of stuff. So, you know, what struck me. So I
You're not
always do
going to
my.
do a Rick Rude interlude?
No, man, we did that for Joel's. I can't do it for everyone. You want to do one
Sorry,
for
there's
the?
only one per episode.
You want to do one for the
You want to
general discussion?
if you want
I
to
guess I need
negotiate a
to-
second
I'll
one,
have
we
to
can
think
have a
about it.
meeting after this.
I don't think I have the big red broad who's getting.
I mean,
me.
the red eye was a good line. You got. I'll give you I'll give you the Rick Rude if you want to take that over. I think you could do it.
I guess I missed out on it. No,
Let's do. Well, I was just gonna say that what struck me as rewatching these is and listening to other podcasts reviewing them and reading up and seeing all this stuff is, and this is hard for me because you know I'm such a quintessentially American guy, having grown up here my whole life, not really well traveled, and have an English friend of mine through the many years, and it always struck me how much he knew about America and how little I knew about England. And all of that is to say, as a preface, this is a quintessentially English film. Both films are quintessentially English. And
is it English or is it British? Yeah.
Is it British? Well, it's England, right? It's specifically England, right? Well, I guess what they.
I mean, most of the actors.
England,
Ireland, and Scotland. There's a lot of I think it's supposed to be British. I mean, specifically Killian.
His Irish accent kept coming out.
Being Irish, like
the first scene in 28 Days Later is in Scotland.
Oh, it's in the Scottish Highlands. That's right. That is right.
And 28 years later,
so it's the island. It's the islands in general. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's all.
Well, I was gonna say, well, with Cillian Murphy, who's Irish, they tried to have. They didn't want him. They wanted him to be English, and he actually started, but he kept lapsing into his Irish accent, and they were like, all right, fuck it, you'll just be an Irishman, you know, in England, it'll be fine.
Well, you know the guy who wrote it, so Danny Boyle, right? Like he's Irish. I mean, he was born in England, but like his parents are both Irish. Like his father was from Manchester, was Irish Catholic descent.
Well, what about Garland?
She was from County Galway, and then like you've got Brendan Gleeson, who's Irish. Like that guy actually speaks Irish. Yeah. Like he's super Irish.
Well, but, what about Alex? What about Alex Garland?
Oh my gosh,
he's English.
So,
well, yeah.
One of the things that I think is so interesting or very interesting about the way they decided to write 28 years later is they explicitly ignore 28 weeks later. Like it is not part of continuity.
Well,
and the way.
Well, part of that is due to, sorry to interrupt, Joel, but like part of that is because Boyle and Garland were largely uninvolved in that sequel. I think Boyle was like was like a deputy producer or some bullshit. He had no.
Which just means he gets a cut.
Yeah, no one wrote or directed or had their hands on that, and they go ahead. And they retconned in 28 years later. They excised a lot of the stuff from 28 weeks and just because weeks made it a global pandemic essentially, right? And
well, that's what I'm trying to say is that Alex Garland went out of his way to make it the Europeans were able to stop the virus from spreading, so it is not a global thing, it is exclusively English or British.
So as Sled corrected me, so
what do you mean in which one?
It's not even British, it's just the main island of
28 years,
right? Like it's
years
just
later.
So have you ever seen 28 Weeks, the sequel, Jeannie, to the original Days?
No.
Okay, so obviously in Days, this is in this is in the UK, this is in England, or in part of Scotland.
But
so
it's global.
It's no. They theorized that. Okay, at some point she says, "What's her face?" Selena says,
"Yeah."
She says, "Well, no, I've heard in Paris and I've heard in here." And later, one of the soldiers who's tied up with Jim with Cillian Murphy is like, "It's nowhere else. It's nowhere fucking else. It's just here. Everyone's watching. They're watching The Simpsons and they're drinking and they're sitting in front of their fireplaces."
That was his theory, though.
That's his theory.
But even with him is 28 days later. So 28 years later is I didn't take him as the 28 weeks later didn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
Because 28 years says so. 28 weeks comes, Jeannie, and essentially you're told that this gets out through through plane travel. This is now a global pandemic. It's everywhere. It's escaped England. In 28 years, they revamp it, and they're just like, you just hear no, actually they fix it. They acknowledge 28 weeks, I guess, but then they unfuck it. They're like, actually the rest of Europe has beaten back this virus. It is now England once again that is solely quarantined. Everywhere else is under control and it's gone.
Yeah,
because they always
got to the mainland,
and then they beat it back. And so that's the whole thing that I was trying to lead with thematically here, is that this is a social political commentary on England as an island, right? Or as a British thing, on how they address crises, how they view the rest of the world, how they're viewed and through what lens by the rest of the world. So especially in 28 years later, we're looking at echoes of Brexit. Brexit's a big theme, right? And I feel like that's sort of how they're by themselves and they handle things how they want to handle them, irrespective of how the rest of Europe does that, sometimes to their advantage, sometimes to their disadvantage. This is one of those things where it's just like they fuck it up over and over again, and now they're left to their own devices, partly by their own will. What's up, Joel?
Can I chime in on that? Because 28 years later, the place where the island where they start the film, the little colony of people that Spike and his dad come from, is called, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's Lindisfarne, and it means holy island.
Okay.
What is interesting about that, one is there's two things that are really interesting. It's a peculiar piece of geography. It literally, Jesse was the one who was like, no, that really is the case. And then I dove into the history of it a little.
Which is to say, it's a real island. They didn't make this up for the movie. Okay.
And there is like a
causeway,
pathway, basically. What's that?
A causeway, yeah.
Causeway from the English mainland to this island, right? So that, and it gets covered when it's at high tide. And the tides themselves, that's the North Sea. It's very, very parallel.
No, thank you. I will not be going over that road.
Yeah. So
I would do that, actually. I would love to do that, actually.
So here's the thing that I thought was really interesting. In the year 793, however you say that, right? That island was invaded by the Vikings, right? And it was, and that's part of where it gets its name and all of this stuff. And you'll find in the movie that one of the characters, the soldier they run into in 28 years, is a Swedish soldier.
Yeah.
The Vikings invaded and so on. And so that island was like burned to the ground by the Vikings, right? Like, so it is theorized.
The Isle of Dogs is in the middle of London, right? Like it's.
What's that?
Isle of Dogs. It's a peninsula. It's in London, isn't it?
But this isn't the Isle of Dogs.
No? Oh, is it somewhere different in the thing?
Yeah, it's supposed to be off the coast of the mainland. It's not.
Okay.
It's not in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll bring up a map as we're.
Yeah, well, but the larger point is here. This is Again, we're talking about layers. This is isolationism within isolationism, right? Even from England being cut off from the rest of the world via the quarantine for the rage virus, there's still an island within an island.
Dogs is in the weeks later thing. I thought we were talking about that.
Yeah, no, Joel's talking about years later. But that's you have a smaller island off the coast of the main island. Yeah. The mainland, and it's just like they're even
very isolated.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting thematically, especially when sort of looked at through the lens of both. Oh, look at this, we got a visual. Hell yeah. Looked at through the lens of 28 days versus years. There's that same isolationism going on again within the country itself when Jim wakes up, when Cillian Murphy wakes up in the hospital, and fucking, what's the main downtown area there called? God, I heard it so many times. Piccadilly
In
Square.
London, I don't know.
It's Piccadilly Square.
Circus?
Piccadilly
Piccadilly
Circus.
Circus.
Piccadilly Circus. And it's completely empty, like you said, Joel, right? And he's wandering
weird.
around. And then they, there are various points while they're trying to make their way out of the city where they isolate again in that open field where they sleep for the night on their way out to chase the transmission from the soldiers to see if there's anything going on there at the base. There's lots of this micro and macro, larger society versus smaller groupings of people who are brought together via circumstance or what have you. So I think Boyle and Garland say a lot about that in both films. And, I'm curious to see what comes next for Years, because as I understand it, it's the start of a trilogy, right? Like they've got another one in the can already. It's already done. They're going to release it in January, I think, as a sequel to Years.
When we get to it, when we're ready for it, I have thoughts on where I think they're going with Jimmy and all of that.
Yeah.
So Jimmy, just for the listener, and Jeannie, since you didn't get to see Years, the story of Years starts in a flashback to like 2000 whatever, right? And I guess it's actually more like 1997, right? Because it's 28 years before, and it is it's a bunch of kids in Scotland watching the Teletubbies, right? And next thing you know, their parent or their mom is like slamming the door shut and saying, "Stay in here," blah blah blah, and then all hell breaks loose. One of the kids gets away. He's Jimmy. Jimmy gets away and makes it to the church where his dad is the local vicar, and he and in that, his dad thinks like, "Oh, it's the second coming of Christ, so the dead have risen. Let's rejoice and get eaten, I guess, and then go to heaven, right?" And so, as this is all getting ready to go, he hands his son this cross and is like, "Take this, always keep it with you." Blah blah blah. End of the movie. So all the events of 28 Days Later happen. At the end of the movie, we meet this guy who is the actor from Sinners that has like a crazy wig on and blonde hair. He's very theatrical. Jessica can go on ad nauseum about that. And he's Jimmy, right? And except he has now the cross inverted on his chest, like hanging around, right? And we've seen a couple of times, there's at least 2 times, Jimmy's name come up, where it's, there's a man hung upside down in like a crucified pose, and he is, marked, like Jimmy's name's carved into him. And then there's another, like, the end is nigh, he is coming, and someone writes like Jimmy, right? Like,
and then it's also on the wall of a barn as they go through the countryside. Yeah. Jimmy. It just says Jimmy. Yeah.
So there is a theory being floated now that Jimmy sees himself as some sort of antichrist, right? And that may be the angle they go with, like with the next one, because he leads a cult. That's what you find out, is Jimmy is in charge of a cult, and they are really weird. We can talk about it as a group.
It's he really reminds me of Alex, the lead in A Clockwork Orange. He and his fellow droogs.
I think you're right.
That was actually the thing that made me dislike that movie the most was that ending. So
hold on. I want to hear Sled. Yeah.
It felt so contrived and like worked in to like make sequels. Like I was just like, fuck this. This is like, and then it was like so. I don't even know what's the best word I would describe the end fight scene. It's very cinematic,
hyperbolic. They're doing acrobatics. They're just like Teletubbies.
I was like, God damn it, fuck this! Like it was like I liked the movie. Like there was issues I had with the plot before that. That when we got to that, I was just like, oh, get the fuck out of here! Like unless
aggressive tonal shift.
It just seems.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I got it. Is what I feel like. I got it. I just didn't like it. Like I get what you're doing. Like I just don't like it. Like I'm just like,
And I do think it was
whatever.
explicitly what Fled's talking about, where it's like to set up the next movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why they made him gymnasts. I don't understand.
Well, so Sled, that's what I was going to ask. Did you have more of a problem with the fact that it felt tacked on, like contrived, tacked on, or did you have a problem with, or both, or did you have a problem with the fact that it was this complete departure in terms of how gritty and realistic, or whatever?
Yeah, the movie was good, but the movie was good. I mean, there were some things with it, but it was like overall really I loved the second. I mean, as far as I don't think it lives. But like,
I'm saying if they weren't dressed like
the tone shift at the end, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I mean, it's like, I don't know. That was what I took away.
So if they weren't doing like 15-foot high backflips and dressed like 70s pimps, maybe if they came off like more sinister and realistic, you'd be
I mean, the fact that they just lived out this, it just felt too. Yeah, I mean, it was so contrived. Like what? Like, all right, are we ending in total supernatural here? These guys have been living out here, and they're
fine.
Jimmy, who the fuck is the guy? There's a guy who's they're actually based on, who's like
Jimmy Savile.
He's real bad. He's real bad.
So for our American listeners who probably comprise 98%, of our listeners,
he's like Ali G.
Oh, stop.
He's a pedophile.
He was a prominent television figure, right? Was he a comedian? He had his own show. He was involved. He dressed really.
A DJ.
He dressed really ostentatiously, and then of course it comes out many years later that he was a pederast, that he was abusing children, boys. And it was demonized obviously years later. But this movie would have taken place, and young Jimmy in the movie would have been watching and perhaps idolizing Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, I mean,
before these revelations,
when this happened, that he would have been this guy, right? Like that's the thing.
Right.
But it was more that it just fucked up. Like it just felt tacked on. Like it fucked up the rest of the movie. Like it was like, okay, well, the whole movie before now was realistic, and it was trying to be semi-realistic, and then all of a sudden you have this thing where these guys are doing like. They're fucking doing like parkour. Like it felt like I was watching a YouTube parkour. Like one of the fucking videos where the guys are like bouncing around. Like, fucking is at the office where they're doing the parkour shit. But it was like, it fucked up the movie. Like I was just like, like make this another fucking movie. Like I mean, there was already some stuff that I thought, but I actually loved the second movie until they did that. It just felt, it felt sloppy. I mean, it was done well. Like that was like the both movies. Like, everything was done well, except for some of the writing. Like it was just like, maybe I just don't get it. But
I mean, I liked how they sort of foreshadowed. It was sort of that Jaws bit, right? You just hear about and see about and read about Jimmy, but you never see Jimmy until the last fight. It was like Jaws a little bit. And I get what they were trying to do, and they obviously made a conscious effort, Garland particularly, to write that in that way. And Boyle to have that stylistic departure cinematically from like what we'd been seeing the previous 95% of the movie. But yeah, I tell you what, I had a similar knee-jerk reaction Sled to watching that last 5 minutes. But then after I kept rewatching, I kept going, you know what? What overrides it is I want to see the other movies. So I'm like, okay, I'll accept this. I want to see where we are going, because Alfie.
And honestly, I didn't even mind it when the guy showed up. When he first showed up, I was like, okay, I can deal with this.
We'll see.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
It was more like the last part of it where they like all came out and attacked, like doing this fucking stupid parkour. Like when the guy showed up, I was like, all right, I can dig this. It was more like the actual execution of how they did it. I was like, this is, I don't want to call it gay, but it felt fucking gay. I was like, this fucking.
Jeannie is the editor, and she just left the screen. This is not good. This is off the leash now.
There was nothing homosexual about it. It was fucking.
And that's fine. And that's fine if there was. Correct. Okay, it's all fine.
I mean, if that would have been actually badass. If that dude like got down there and fucked him, I'd be like, this.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Rocks. That would
Joel, save me. What do you?
I heard it all.
I
heard it all.
She just been all right. Look. Well, let's move on.
No,
let's
it should have been gayer. That'd be. I guess that'd be my argument.
I was gonna say, outside of the isolationism and the specific Britishness of both movies, there also was a lot of interesting stuff with regard to like the parent-child relationships and the replication of patriarchy. So in both, right, in the OG one in 2002 and 28 Days, Brendan Gleeson and his daughter, that relationship is really important, right? And obviously in 28 years later, um, the boy and his father's relationship is obviously sets in motion what happens for the rest of the movie. So I was trying to look at how Alex Garland writes these characters in these relationships and this dynamic of father son, mother son, father daughter, and all the different iterations of that familiar stuff. What did you guys get from that, if anything?
Hmm. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that one
Yeah.
too much. I mean, like I will say that one of the things that's kind of so you have the, I'll say, the healthier relationship in 28 days later between the father and the daughter, where he's trying to be protective of her and all of those things. And I think that's pretty healthy even in um 20 years later, but you have the added dimension of the father and the son having to deal with the fact that the mother is clearly dying,
Yeah.
like, and the father is really having a hard time dealing with it and is cheating on her and all sorts of, so there was a lot going on in that relationship.
Yeah, I see. Like to dovetail on that, I thought the relationship in 2000 in Days, Brendan Gleeson as the father was looking out for the daughter, loved her. He had her holed up in the apartment. He was trying to have some semblance of normalcy. They had Christmas lights and music, and he was trying to make it like, we're not in hell. We're not in this dystopian future. Maybe to the point that he babied her a bit. They weren't out there surviving. She
Yeah.
didn't develop skills. Okay. Then you move that. And so then he gets desperate when he hears the transmission from the military folks. He thinks, I'm not going to be around that much longer. Right. I need her taken care of. Then you switch to years where the father is not a polar opposite, but he's much more on the side opposite Gleason, which is my kid is 12. Now, the standard for the island, I think they say, is 14 or 15 years old before you're supposed to leave the island and get your first infected kill. And he's like, no, my kid is going to learn how to fucking shoot a bow and arrow. He's going to kill the infected. He's going to get his kills. We're going to come back to the mainland as heroes, and he's going to grow up. And he's very much like that, right? To the detriment of, there's two sides to you as a father. You know this, Joel. Two sides to you as a father: the provider, the nurturer, but also the other side is the protector and all that. What is now classically deemed as toxic masculinity or some variation on that. So I think he swings the other way and he pushes this kid who's only 12, makes him leave the island to go to the mainland. And I thought that was in. I saw so Garland, I think,
Yeah,
is showing us both sides of what can go wrong when you're too far to the left or too far to the right on that. That at least that's what I took from it.
I mean, I don't know if I put it so much as left and right. I mean, I thought Gleason's. I mean, I'm a Brendan Gleeson mark. Like, I fucking love Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah,
like
what an actor.
He's pretty great.
Kills it in like every role he does. Like, I love
Everything.
his character in 28 Days. Like, I just think he did it so well. Like, he was the one who made me the saddest when he was so like, he was the one guy they showed like where it was like he kept some of like his love was so strong that when he, even after he got infected, he kept it. He was like, you got to get away. I fucking like, and they did that so well.
Yeah.
And then like in 28 years, I think that was actually one of the things I liked for 28 weeks was like, which we're not talking about, but they had the same thing going on it with like comparing your relationships in 28 weeks, where it was like, the dad in that, like, he loved his kids, but then he like fucked over his wife, right? Like, but it's like, but he also like, did he, or like he was just like, this is like, he thought she was dead. So like, it was really like, that was one thing. Like 28 weeks, we're not doing it, but I think it was actually, I liked him well. Like that was like, I liked that. Like it was like that for not having it within it. Like they did the same. They had something different going on that too. Like to where it's acting. And I don't know. 28 years, then like that life, that was the funniest thing to me. The life they looked fucking awesome. I mean, I think that was supposed to be an appealing thing, right?
Right.
Like,
Why leave that island? Why would you leave that island?
Because it was supposed to be a criticism of like insularism, and it was like it kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I think you're fucking selling it here. Like, stay on the fucking island. Like, because when I watched it, when they went over to like the mainland being England, which is already
it was garbage.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is awful. Like, well, you got people like, yeah, I could even get. I was like, if you got some like rite of passage, you want to go kill people, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out here on the edge of the woods, and I'm gonna fucking I'll shoot whoever random comes around here, but otherwise, I'm going back. I'm not fucking staying here. Like,
I think where they were going with that. I mean, I completely agree. There's no fucking way I'm leaving that island. But I think where they were trying to go. I mean, just straight up, no thank you. But like, you know, the big theme I think for 28 Days is like, you know, rage and what it does to us, and that it lives in all of us, and all of, you know, that stuff. And then the other one, and Jesse, I'm assuming you're going to talk about Brexit more, and like, you know, some of the rage that was in that, and kind of the isolationism that came out of that. But I think 28 Years was trying to make a point around, you know, how to deal with grief and acceptance, right? Like, and like, and then moving on, like, so not isolating and so on. Now, I would be like, fuck that, I'll stay over here. But I think that's because the boy at the end of the movie is like, I'm not gonna hide anymore. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna get out and go live and see what the world has to offer.
Well, so you touched on a little bit, Joel, which I did want to also get in thematically, was like the origin of the virus and the implications, and perhaps the allegory that was trying to be applied by Garland as a writer in a larger picture. So we're told this is a rage virus. These are not zombies, right? And these are people who are still alive, but they're infected with the rage virus. Now, the beginning of this whole franchise in 28 Days, the first scene, which I'd forgotten, is not Jim waking up in the hospital with his dong hanging out. Jeannie, by the way, I did want to say as a side note here, not only is this finally your episode where you get to see a bunch of dicks instead of like a bunch of naked women, but you missed out on 28 Years Later. There's like more dicks than you could shake a stick at for these. And one of them, I want to say so myself, Jesus Christ, that guy makes me feel really embarrassed.
It's not a real dick.
What's that?
It's a prosthetic.
Right, they're all prosthetics, but I would submit this. Everyone else's prosthetic looked like a regular dick. This guy's prosthetic hanging down to his knees. I'm just saying whatever they had to cover up, pretty substantial, would be my guess. But where the hell was I? So
the opening scene.
The opening scene, right? The opening scene is the lab where these chimpanzees are being held. Now, talk about some, Christian symbology here. When you first see the chimp, he's splayed, tied down, Christ-like, right? Arms out to the sides, being sacrificed, which is part of it. But what I was going to get at was the rage virus itself. Are we supposed to? And I'm thinking about COVID. Right, and I'm thinking about
this is made 2001, right? Like this is pre 9/11, even.
I know, but I was going to say how COVID had us when this virus broke out, and how divisive it was, and how angry people were at wearing masks or not wearing masks, or getting vaccinated or not getting vaccinated, and this sort of precedes that in a way and portends that coming up with the virus. So actually, it's like the virus. No, they've been infected. And what does he say? With what? These animal rights activists burst in there to free these chimps, and he says he doesn't say the rage virus. There's no virus. So my question is,
rage, right? He's like,
he says rage. He says rage. But my question is, the scientists have these monkeys watching all these various running films of violence, riots, rapes, murders, all violence. Are they injecting them with a quote unquote lab made virus that is rage, or are they just simply exposing them to nonstop rage and that causes the virus?
I think I think it's something a little bit different, but it's closer to the latter. I think it's an inhibitor. I think it is inhibiting like inhibitions to the point where like we have rage in us, right? And the reason why I say this is what happens to Killing Murphy.
The fuck I do. Oh, sorry.
Right, exactly. Where he gouges out the guy's eyes.
That's right.
Kills him.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole thing is like it's
That was actually the part that I disliked. Like,
you don't like that part?
No, the first movie I loved until Cillian Murphy became, I don't know,
Rambo.
Badass when he fucking like they would. And why did they just kill him? Like they're like, you're not going to go along. They would have popped him right fucking there. That was like there was like too much. There was realism issues. They're like, oh, we're going to take you out in the woods and kill you. No, we're at the fucking end of the world. We're going to fucking take you out in the yard,
right, in the front yard,
and then we're going to fucking put a bullet in your fucking head. Like we're not even going to put a bullet because we have limited bullets. You're probably going to have a guy cut his fucking throat or just stick a fucking knife in him. He's never going to do shit.
Well,
I think that just speaks to their isolationism.
Until they got to the part where Cillian Murphy became Billy Badass, because that would have never happened. They would have fucking dogged that dude. It would just, and that was
Sled,
I guess
Sled. Those guys were boobs. Those guys were boobs. They couldn't do anything.
Be a fast guy and then become an insurgent. He would have got murked that quick.
Garland sets them up as incompetent boobs who have no firearm discipline. They have no order. They have no what's the word?
Garland's a bad mother. But West is a bad dude. The dude is a major. He would have had a bunch of bums hanging around him. He would have killed those.
He couldn't get his guy to cook eggs. How you think he's going to get them to make sure that this place is a secure perimeter and they're going to execute victims?
The one guy's a fucking maniac. The one guy's a fucking lunatic. He would have 100% been happy to kill that guy right away.
Joel, what were you gonna say?
I'm probably gonna kill him and then fuck his dead corpse right in the ass. That's what that guy would have been okay with that. That's the way they set him up.
What Led's saying in terms of like realism, right? Like realistically, they just would have killed him. The issue is if you went with like pure realism, they couldn't make their point, and their point is killing that guy. I'm just saying that's what they did.
Right. So the point was that this is the rage and all of this, and then you even see the rage aside from Jim becoming mad with rage, is you see Gleason, which is what gets him killed. Gleason's still in daze. But when he walks up, so they go to right when they get to the military installation, and they realize, oh, this is fucked. This is just a log jam. No one's here. And he runs up. He sees the crow pecking at the dead corpse, and he's just angry because this sucks. And he wanted this to be somewhere they could be safe. And he kicks the fucking, he kicks the wall or the pipe or whatever, which causes.
And like I said, that's the point where the movie starts to lose its.
It's a little on the nose for you.
And I was like, this is so annoying because if those guys had just said they were there, like what, he got really mad because there was nobody there, and then all of a sudden they showed up as soon as they started like getting angry, like, and then they're like killed him.
Well,
like I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, I think they were there to kill him anyway, right? I think they just wanted the women, right? I mean, that was.
Yeah, but they didn't kill the other guys. Why don't they just kill the other guys and take the women?
Yeah, they didn't kill Jim. That's true.
Chicks.
I thought about
all fucking like murking guys they would have just shot all those guys and taken those chicks and fucked them.
I think that's probably right. But I think
they don't care about raping chicks.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the movie, like, that's why it's not like the movie could have been like, I don't know. I get what they were trying to do. I just like whenever you lose that, it always, it loses me a little. Like if you can work something into where it like feels realistic and it's accomplishing the thing, that's like the separation between like, okay, I gave these 3.5. Like I like these movies. I'm just saying like in the difference of like, okay, well, this is a fucking 4.5 5-star movie is like you worked that in and made it happen in a way that it felt like, oh, you didn't have to have people not acting like people to do this. Well,
my point in bringing up the origin of the rage virus was mostly to just say how it's reflective. It's sort of the argument of art reflecting life or life reflecting art, of how like this is how think about online when you're on Twitter or wherever you are online, how fucking angry everyone is all the time. And think about how COVID fomented a lot of that splintering and all the rage about what I should be able to do from an individual perspective, geopolitically, what's happening in different countries. Let's close the borders down. Again, the isolationism thing pops up. But like, and how that is detrimental to how you can move through society and how you can manage your own life every day, and how sometimes it can cost you your life, your livelihood. And that's I don't know, that was a big deal for me. Same thing with Brexit. Again, Joel, you mentioned Brexit again, like same thing with that, So I think Garland and Boyle have a lot to say about that in the franchise. But did you guys have any themes that you guys picked up on, or threads between days and years that you were interested in?
I mean, like I said, grief. I think that was grief and moving past grief. I think was a big one. But,
well, yeah, with Selena,
the years one, definitely the grief was like a huge thing. I think I like 28 years later more than I like.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I rated it higher. Something about that. Well, yeah, dealing with loss and grief and how to move on. And he's watching his mom die, and he's grieving for her while she's dying, and then he grieves for her when she actually does die.
Yeah.
But that's
people dogging on like the idea that like of what happened with the doctor and like putting the skull on top. Like people were like, I was reading because I was, during this I was researching stuff, and like I was like, I don't know, I thought that was really like poignant. Like I thought it was like a great.
I thought it was beautiful.
Really like, I love that fucking scene. Like to where it's like,
I told Jesse straight up, here you go. I'll say this. I cried like a goddamn baby.
No.
Shit.
Honestly, I love
like almost 50. Shit, people are dropping like flies.
Yeah,
years later, the only thing that bothered me about years later is honestly that last. Like, I feel like it the end of it fucking. I was like, God damn it! Like, it's like, I mean, I get what they're doing, like I said, but I feel like it fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like, I really loved that movie until they got to the end, with the fucking
they could have
Scottish.
done it a little less.
Yeah.
Like it felt very like. Do you guys remember that Batman and Robin movie with like where the bad guys come in and they're all doing flips and shit? That's what that.
Parkour.
It was the crazy 88s from
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I just don't. Did I change the channel? What the fuck happened here? Right? Like,
I didn't even the guy being in the outfit. Like, I got that. It was like, oh, this is a guy trying to recapture. This is a person trying to hold on to something that they maybe remembered or doing whatever. Like,
and him
like,
being a cult leader.
The absurd
of
it bothered me, I guess.
Well, think about the grief in the OG in Days when Cillian Murphy, he's rescued by Selena and the other soldier, right? And they end up in that house, and they go back to his house to see if his parents are alive. And he finds his parents dead in their bed. They drank some wine and took pills.
That was one of the things I wrote.
Yeah, the notes. Yeah. It is heart rending, right? It's gut wrenching. Yeah. And he sees his parents dead. He gets confirmation they're dead. He was in a coma at the beginning of this. He was hit by a car. He's a bike messenger. And they basically, their notes like, when we left you, you were sleeping. Now we're sleeping too. Don't ever wake up. We love you. And of course.
Do you think he was supposed to have had like brain surgery? Is that why his hair is so bad?
Yeah, well, they at least went in there to, I mean, what they
let pressure off his brain.
That's exactly what they do. Yeah. But so he ends up that night going through at his old parents' house, the films, right? The video footage of growing up with his parents, and he's sitting there at night. That's ultimately what gets him screwed and has the rage virus zombies break through the house. Is he's got a little candle lit so he can watch his childhood films, and that's his active grieving process, right? Which is different from Selena, who becomes the love interest, from basically saying the best you can hope for is to survive. Don't think about love or fucking or anything or remembering your parents or families. Like, just survive the day. And she ends up doing a 180 on that midway or 3/4 of the way through the movie, which talk about being a little hastily written, Sled, or a little bit. It's just like, of course she softens to him, and they're gonna be a love interest thing and have a relationship, which seems a little contrived as well.
You talking about Days?
Yeah, Days with Selena,
Days,
and Jim Killian Murphy, who end up together, right?
I mean,
Now,
when the only guy you've got is like Killian Murphy's a good-looking guy, and
yeah,
everybody else is a rapist. Like you're like,
well,
yeah, I
or
guess.
dead, right? Like they're either a rage zombie or a rapist.
actually, I mean, I really like they did a good job with the major in that, like where they're like when there's the first thing kicks off, you're like, oh, these guys are pieces of shit, and then the major steps in, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh, well, this guy has honor. He like is
yeah,
not gonna, and then like you're like, and then they swivel it to where it's like, oh no, this is the king piece of shit. Like,
yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like
And
these
yeah,
guys are acting like that because king piece of shit promised that you're gonna get women to like, yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Um, that's what like that's like
walking around.
I don't know. One of the things, like I said, this is like it's a weird. Both of the movies are really. I mean, I watch them and I feel like I'm almost missing something because the cinematography, the direction, everything is so perfect. There's just plot flaws that bother me, I guess, and it's like I'm trying to wrap my head around to figure it out because I think the acting in all of them is incredible. Like I think the
I,
acting is great. The cinematography is great. I think the
yeah.
direction is like the way it's put together is all great. And I don't know if I've watched other movies like that. And that's what makes me think I need to wrap my head around something. Is because I'm like, God damn it, there's something about this bothering me. Like, I don't know if
I,
that does that make sense at all? I don't
no,
know.
Yeah,
yeah, it totally makes sense for me though. And the more you talk about it, the more it informs my perspective on it. I think I was overlooking some of those things that I might have started to intuit as I watched because I'm so into characterization. And I thought it was, for me, I think Garland loves relationships. Like I was talking about, parent child, love interest, whatever the relationship and the different dynamics of those different iterations. That's what he's going for. And so when you get like women and their role and their autonomy or their agency in this universe, you get Selena, who's this badass single soul survivor woman, right? Who knows how to do everything. She's like, forget your emotions, like just survive. And she hacks up her the
That's a
guy who,
doctor, right?
what's that?
She's a doctor, right? And she's
She
supposed
was
to be
so she's supposed to be a pharmacist because she
that's
has all the drugs and she knows how to manage them and what doses to take and what this does. So she's a pharmacist, but like what I'm saying is she's cold and calculated, at least for the first half or 3/4 of the movie. But then we contrast that with 28 years, where we talk about the women roles. You have the mother, who is essentially an invalid, right? She's got basically a brain injury as a result of being riddled with cancer. She's no good to anyone to do anything from a practical survivalist perspective. And she relies on her 12-year-old son to try to rescue her and save her and all this stuff. And so, I'm not sure where Garland comes out on women and their rights. And obviously this stuff with, dressing them up and taking advantage of them and trying to rape them and all that stuff in the OG one, he's making a huge statement. But what's he saying in years? There are no women in years except the mom who
yeah.
has.
I mean, I don't
they're
know.
giving birth, Jesse. We didn't even talk about the having the fucking baby thing.
Wait, what's
The
the
what?
You
having the
have an
baby thing?
uninfected baby, right? Like
Oh Jesus! Wait, that's right. Oh, we do have to talk about that. That just upends my whole
What
soliloquy.
was it? I don't
So
remember.
in years later, there's a zombie, a woman zombie who is pregnant. Okay,
Oh yeah.
and she eventually gives birth, and the mother basically like acts as a de facto midwife during her giving birth in this abandoned railroad car, and they actually embrace hand to hand during the actual laboring process while she's pushing the baby out. And as soon as she gives birth, she immediately reverts to her zombie instincts, and they have to kill her. But for those brief, and then the baby is uninfected, which we'll discuss how that could be a possibility. But yeah, so there's a lot being said about the strength of motherhood, the sisterhood of being a mother, of giving birth, of going through that process, and what it means to bring life onto the planet.
I don't know.
So yeah,
And have you seen 20 weeks later when you work it in with that? What's going on there?
well, I feel like 28 weeks later is going to be removed
Well, you
from
think
it.
about it, I mean, you got Begbie from. Have you seen Train Spotting?
I have not seen Trainspotting.
So I still say I still want to see a zombie movie where it's just Begbie, but the zombies are running away from him. They're like trying not to make him mad. But yeah, no, I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's interesting to contrapose all those things where, because like, abandons his wife, right? And then he murders her. Or no, he leaves her.
No.
And then he comes back and she infects him and then kills him. And then, I don't know.
Well, my question is this: for the woman zombie, the woman infected with the rage virus who gives birth, are we to assume that she was pregnant before she was infected with the rage virus, or did she, or are these zombies having sex?
That's Samson's baby. That's my assumption. That's Samson's baby. So that's actually one of my big. I don't know when we're supposed to say this to, but like I was like, my flaws with the movie are like, how do the infected know that they're not infected? Like, it's like, why aren't they killing everybody? Like, the stuff that's going on doesn't make any sense to me, and that's always bothers me. Like, why aren't you just fucking eating and killing everybody? And why do some people survive to fucking become? I mean, besides the inherent like the thing flaws, if this is spawned by blood or saliva, you're gonna get infected. Like Cillian Murphy, maybe he's the original carrier because he has a whole scene where he gets like a guy's fucking like fucking on him, about to kill him,
and we see one drop kills Gleason.
You probably got some spit in your mouth right now. If you've done any kind of like combat work, like you've got some spit in your mouth. You're fucking gonna get some carrier status. That didn't happen. But anyways,
So I was reading the 28 years later is after the initial outbreak in 2002.
It leads up. So they have what is the beginning? He takes a flight to where? Well, it doesn't matter. It breaks quarantine. It gets outside of England. It's global now. You're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, there was a second outbreak.
Right. All right, hold on. All right, we got to move from the general discussion here. You guys have any other themes? Because we want to move to favorite kill, favorite scene.
Outbreak. And then 28 years after its second outbreak. Interesting. So I'm just thinking about the timeline, because 2002 was the initial outbreak, and then they reference a second outbreak, and it's 28 years after that second outbreak. So it's not even 28 years later. It's like 2032 would be 28 years later. I don't know.
All right, let's move to favorite kill, favorite scene. You can pick either or both if you'd like. I'll go ahead and kick it off. We can just round robin here. For Days, my favorite scene was actually, again, this just ties right back to all my zombie obsessions. I don't care about any of the artistry, about any of this shit. I just want in a zombie movie for them to escape to like some place where no zombies are, right? And they make it in 28 days. They leave the city in pursuit again of the military compound where they think they're going to get some help. But they stop when they're, it's like a 3-day trek, and they stop in that field in the countryside with just like I think there's some stone remains of what used to be a house there, and they sleep on the ground, and they've just raided the grocery store. They have the car out there. They leave the city in the taxi cab, and they're lying out in the field. They're stoned on Xanax. They're binge eating, and they're watching a family of horses trot by in the pasture, and they all relax that night. And I'm just like, why are they still going anywhere? Again, why don't we just set up shop here? We've got like weeks of supplies. We can start doing monthly, once a month treks back to the grocery store to get more supplies to bring them back out here. Someone's got to be able to build a shack out there. What are we doing? Why are we in pursuit of help when this is like an idyllic place to be? Anyways, that was my favorite scene. I thought it was gorgeous. And Brendan Gleeson gets up early and he looks at the horses going by, and they're like, "Do you think they're infected, Dad?" And he's like, "No, they're fine. They're doing fine." I like that. That's corny, but and in years I did not have a favorite scene, although there were a lot of heart-rending scenes. My favorite, I'll just go with the favorite kill, which was the alpha zombie ripping off the Swedish soldier Eric's head and clean off his head with the spine and everything. It was very Predator-esque. I like that. What did you guys have for favorite scenes or favorite kills?
Can I just say, for once,
Go for it.
in a post-apocalyptic world, can somebody please get the most badass car? Why in a post-apocalyptic world are we still driving in these like shit cars?
What do you want? You want to get a fucking Cybertruck? What do you want them to drive around in?
I don't know. Like, I'm sure there was a souped-up SUV available.
I know.
With a little bit more like safety to it.
In one of them, in one of the later George A. Romero films, one of the versions of the Dead, it's like Diary of the Dead or something, I think, they're in a fully outfitted Winnebago, and there's a group of
like
20 some,
like a killmobile.
Yeah, and it's perfect, and they're not in that very long either. I'm like, why are they not just living in here and driving to the countryside somewhere and living out of the Winnebago?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But on that note, the tunnel scene I thought was really that was super stressful.
Yeah,
super stressful. And then the rats came and she screamed, and I'm like, oh my god, you're gonna get a rat in your mouth. You're gonna get a rat in your mouth. Like,
well, I like here's another comparison between the two. In 28 Days, the rats know the infected are coming. That's why they're fleeing, right? Mm-hmm. And in Years, it's the birds that flee. They see the birds fleeing. So the animals have an instinct about these unwell humans, and they need to get the hell out
Predators,
of them.
Right?
Yeah. And Gleason, it's funny because Gleason's such a measured. He's had his daughter safely ensconced in the apartment for a while. But when he makes that trip to go out to hopefully get saved by the military, he starts taking risks that he wouldn't normally take. And Cillian Murphy and Selena, they both say right before they go in the tunnel, like, no, we don't care how long how many more days it adds. Let's go around. And he's like, no, we'll go through. He just wants to get his daughter to safety. So and it's funny that he plays around, Garland and Boyle play around with that dynamic in 28 Years Later, where the son is effectively the one taking care of the parent, right? He's protecting his mom. Well, he's protecting his mom. He brings her to try to get her saved by the doctor. Sled, I feel like you should be talking about Ralph Fiennes as the doctor in 28 Years Later. I feel like you might have strong opinions about his role and what he meant to the movie.
I thought he's great.
You liked him?
So what's that Big Mike piece? Let's see.
So you get Ralph, you get the son who brings his mother to the mainland to see if she can get diagnosed, to figure out, he's heard about this sort of medicine man, this mythical doctor who's gone mad and burns bodies, and he wants to bring her out to him to see if he can diagnose her and perhaps save her. Which I actually thought, here's some crazy imagery. I was listening to an interview with Garland, right? He said he had the Ralph Fiennes character as sort of an quote unquote inverse Colonel Kurtz from Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad, and later to be the Oliver Stone movie Apocalypse Now. An inverse Colonel Kurtz. Instead of going out there. Oh, go ahead, Joel.
I was just going to say, I still haven't quite figured out what that means.
Well, so I was thinking about, I was turning that over. And to me, it meant instead of a guy looking to destroy and segregate and isolate, right? Kurtz had his own brigade of renegade soldiers and natives that he turned against everyone else, right? This guy, Ralph Fiennes' character as the medicine man, was basically like, not only do I want to save people, I want to unite them. I want to also save and do no harm to these infected folks. So he won't kill them. He doesn't kill them. He tranks them, right? And he douses himself in iodine so these, not detectable by them. And he lives among them rather than, he could easily, like a ninja, he could kill a lot of them just being undetectable. But,
he had the alpha dead to rights.
Right. And that same kind of, that
guy.
Well, hold on. That's it. Before you get there, Sled, hold on 1 sec. Hold on. Before you get there, but like that same Apocalypse Now thread runs in 28 Days Later. You talk about like that rogue cavalry being run by a madman. That's the general with the soldiers.
Henry, whatever.
Right. What's his name? Sled. The
West.
West. It's West.
Oh,
So you get
yeah, that's the major.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Major
Sled,
West.
what were you gonna say, Sled?
Where are we going?
Well, we were talking about the medicine man and him being the inverse Colonel Kurtz and all that kind of thing. Did you have a take on that or no?
No, I mean he is definitely. I mean, I guess doing that somewhat. I mean, they've got the Causeway. I hadn't thought about it a bunch. I think. I mean,
What-
Ralph Fiennes does an incredible job. Like he does a great job. Like, and he gets Samson almost kills him. I don't know. Was there anything going on? Do you think they named him Samson for a reason?
Well, yeah, he's got the long hair, right, and the long dick. I suppose that's his power. I have no idea. We're doing favorite kill, favorite scene. What we got? Anyone else got favorite kill, favorite scene?
I mean, I think the walk through Piccadilly Circus in the beginning.
Yeah. They closed.
Is my favorite scene in 2020.
Yeah.
28 Days Later, and then the Ray Fiennes helping the son place his mother's skull.
Yeah.
Is my favorite scene
in years. Yeah. Sled, Jeannie, any favorite scenes, favorite kills?
I said mine. The tunnel.
Oh, right, the tunnel. That's
Yeah.
right.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
Sled, you got something, or we're gonna move to best lines and
Favorite
quotes?
kills. Let's see. Yeah, when he places the skull is really nice. Like I mean, I love that scene. That's 28 years, 28 days.
Killian Murphy opening up with his dick hanging out.
Brendan Gleeson, that's my favorite kill. Is when Brendan Gleeson, like it's just, yeah, he does a good job.
That's great.
Like, yeah. So
His last words to his daughter are "I love you," and then he pushes her away from him. Like he's the
yeah,
ultimate.
like he knows he's infected, and he's like, I'm gonna like he's the one guy. Yeah, he's very conscious. Got him all this way. Feels terrible about it, and he knows it. It bugged the fuck out of me because I don't know. The guys just said they were there.
I know.
Like, it was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh, you all of a sudden showed up once he's fucking like freaking out, but you aren't here to like just watch him.
yeah, it was weird. I mean, again, that speaks to the writing. Maybe there was more going on there, but it does seem weird. They're just lying in wait. And what were they waiting for him to get infected?
Yeah, why were they there as soon as he started going ape shit? They were ready to fucking kill him. But
they would have already jumped out.
I mean, I could create a reason for that because they wanted him to not be there, but it's, I mean, I don't know. And even that could make sense, I guess.
Yeah.
They wanted him to fucking, but they didn't follow it up with the guys being the major, and some of the other guys are very like sociopathic pieces of shit, but the rest of the guys are like, well, one guy's like, he couldn't even kill anybody. He wouldn't even kill anybody when he was about to fucking die. He was a fucking bitch, right? Like,
yep.
So, yeah.
All right, let's go to best lines, favorite quotes, if you had any. I had one from years. I thought I had one from years that was pretty funny. So there was a good that the kid Eric, the young man who was the soldier, the Swedish soldier. And when he gets hooked up with the boy and his mother, and he's got his cell phone and it's dying, right? And he's just like, I'm stuck here. I got to get back. And he's like, I got 1% left. And he shows the kid his girlfriend, who's this, I guess, by traditional standards, a pretty woman, but she's got a lot of work going on. So she's got the Botox in her lips and her nose. Like Jeannie, she looks like any influencer on Instagram, right? And the kid looks at her and he's like, what's wrong with her face? And he's just like, what do you mean? What's wrong with her face? He's like, oh, he's like, we have someone on my island who has the same thing. She's allergic to scallops. And he's like, give me my fucking phone back. And it's just like, it's a really funny, like, it's one of the few lighthearted parts of the movie that kind of breaks up that, you know, that whole vibe. Did you guys have anything?
No,
I
not any
was trying to find something from the first one that I fucking thought I had up, but I closed it out. It was when one guy is. Keep going. I'll try and find it.
Okay. Jeannie, you have anything? Joel, you have anything? Shit, no quotes. This is one of those movies that, like, which is why I love shitty good bad movies, is because there's so many ironic quotable moments.
Right.
But when you have a good movie that's fairly well
Exactly.
written, they're just like nothing stands out at you as odd. I think there was a joke in Days where Selena was with the one soldier before, when they're trying.
I found what I was looking for. If you want to hear it,
yeah, go ahead, Sled. What do you got?
it's one that's when the character's name is Mark, and he's like, I remember my dad had all this cash, even though cash was completely useless. About 20,000 other people had the same idea. The crowd was surging. I lost my grip on my sister's hand. I remember the ground was soft. I looked down, and I was standing all these people, like a carpet, people who had fallen, and somewhere in the crowd, they were infected. It spread fast. No one could run. All you could do was climb over more people. So I did that. I climbed, and I got up on top of this kiosk, looked down. You couldn't tell which faces were infected and which weren't. Then I saw my dad. Not my mom or my sister. My dad. His face. Selena's right. You should be grateful. I don't know if you remember the scene I'm talking about. Where
they're sitting in the store. They lock the door and they're sitting in there. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, no, that was a great scene. And then of course, Selena hacks him up and kills him without a moment's thought. You know, later on.
Oh yeah, I had it coming.
All right, let's move. So we got trivia and tidbits. Anything that you guys uncovered in your research that you thought was of note? I can lead off. I was thinking about, so the ending for Days was originally when they bust out of the military compound, right? When the daughter is driving the car and you got Jim and Selena in the back seat. Jim's been shot in the gut and they break out of the barrier. You know, she guns it through the wrought iron fence trying to keep them in, and it freeze frames, right?
Yeah.
And then you get a brief glimpse of Selena wheeling Jim on a gurney and trying to repair him and fix his gunshot wound or whatever. And, you know, then they wake up in the cottage and everybody. Well, the original movie ends with him dying. That was the original ending. She can't revive him. He dies, and then she takes the girl and they wander off. And it's just this crushing. Well, it tested terribly because everyone was like, it was just too much of a down. The movie's pretty relentless, as you know, right? It's pretty relentless the whole time. So they ran out of money during production and they wanted to change the ending. They eventually did get more money, and that's when they had to film that whole separate ending where they're at that cottage in the countryside, which again, for like the 10th time, why are you not just staying in the fucking cottage? Like, it's got all kinds of supplies. You got your car out front. You're in a house. There's no one else around. No one, you could see any infected coming for miles. Why are we not just cohabitating here?
Aren't they?
They are, but what they do is they are constantly on the lookout for, which is why they make the giant SOS sign, the help sign. Yeah. They're looking for help. And so when they see a plane fly over, they have their setup, that giant help sign, which they, we think they get noticed. And that tested much better as a hopeful ending. But it's actually funny to note the pilot who flies over is a Swedish fighter pilot. And he says, no, Finnish. Maybe Finnish. And he says in that native tongue, should I send a helicopter? So it's really not that ambiguous. They're probably going to get help. He sees them. He's asking if we should send someone to pick them up. But there's also, I don't want to jump backwards, but thematically, there's the military industrial complex. They just came from a military place. Right. So does he mean bring a helicopter to fucking shoot them? Does he mean bring a helicopter to rescue them? Does he mean let's capture them and take advantage of the women? We don't know what's going on. So
Yeah, I think I'd be a little gun shy after my first experience there.
right, still a little less morbid than Jim dying and that being the end. But did you guys have any tidbits trivia to?
I mean, I
add
think
to
they would burn all of them. I mean, right? Like if this is going on, they would have fucking burned everybody fucking there.
I was thinking England would be gone, right? That whole fucking island would be gone. The rest of the world is like, no, you're still here. You're doing this. Okay, we're just gonna nuke the fucking island.
Once they felt like it was contained, they would 100% not have.
Yeah.
They would have fucking been.
Yep.
They would nuke it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that always, like, from a plot standpoint, like, threw me off. They would have just fucking burned all that shit.
No, for sure.
Well, when they realize that Manchester is burning because they're like, there's no fire crew to put it out.
Yeah.
I think it's.
It would just keep burning.
Yeah.
Until all the cities were gone.
Yeah.
That's the thing to your and Slet's point, Jesse. That I don't understand with these movies when you're trying to be really practical is once you got to a place where you were isolated and you could supply food and water, you wouldn't go anywhere if you had half a brain. You'd stay the fuck away from humans.
Yep. No,
Yeah,
I mean, that's
like
it, right?
in Risk, if you could stay on Australia forever,
that's-
you're just gonna hold the one corner.
I think that's human nature, though, right? I mean, we're social people. Granted, right now in 2025, I mean, that sounds like a hell of a plan. Fuck yeah, I'll go somewhere isolated with nothing.
Right.
Hide.
But
right, yeah.
I think
Some people are social people. I don't know. I'm not a social person.
Oh, you don't know. They want to know what's going on.
That island they're on in part 3, 28 years seemed amazing. I would have, I would have been there forever.
Hey, did you guys see? I don't want to go off track, but again, back to the
died of starvation. That would have been the problem.
Did you guys see the dad in 28 Years Later as? I mean, I know it's not it's not a binary, but like, did you see him as like a bad guy, a good guy, both? Like, how did you view the dad in 28 Years?
Oh, he's a good guy. I thought he was a great guy. I didn't think he was a bad guy. I thought he was like I guess there was like a thing he's cheating on his wife, who's like a fucking lunatic and dying of cancer.
She's dying of cancer, bro.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. He wasn't a good guy. I just thought he was a person, and like his kid was like living in some weird purity thing. Like that was honestly like his kid is like, oh, like whatever purity. Like your dad's still a good dad. Your kid is, I don't know, like he's gonna go to what, zombie land?
I mean, he's fucking around on his wife who's dying of cancer, which is pretty grimy, and he slaps his kid around.
I don't know. He's living in a world that's really different than any world I can imagine. So I don't know. I don't think he was bad. I don't know. I mean, yeah, his dad was a bad. He was just a guy. I don't think he was a bad guy or a good guy.
He was flawed, but I didn't think he was like evil.
I just thought he's
right. Like,
No, he's definitely not evil. I mean, he loses his fucking mind when he realizes that his kid is gone to the mainland. I mean, he's out of his mind. He needs his son. But I didn't mean to sidetrack us.
The dad in 28 Weeks Later is a piece of shit.
Wait, oh God, I can't. Okay.
Like the dad in 28 Weeks, like literally, like
he's the villain.
Abandons his fucking wife. Like, and not just abandoned, like, not only does he get scared and run away and let her die, he fucking, like, creates a whole story. And then, the dad in 28 Weeks Later is, and it's perfect that it was Francis Begbie. If you've read this movie, has a ton of connections with Trainspotting. So Francis Begbie is, like, the guy. That's why they had a guy, I think, play it at 28 Weeks Later, because he's in Trainspotting in the original one. Like, have you all read Trainspotting?
Not read, not seen. Not seen, not read.
Well, Begbie is a piece of fucking shit. Like, he's a guy that, he's like Begbie and Patrick Bateman. They're like two guys that, like, a certain variety of guy think is fucking awesome. is Begbie and fucking Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And so it's perfect that 28 weeks later had him be the biggest piece of shit in that, where he leaves his kids, leaves his whatever, and like he just fucks like, and then he has it and he causes it all. That's what I actually love about the last one, is that in theory, it's not I know it's not supposed to happen. It did happen. He's the one who, it was all safe, except this guy created 28 years later.
Yeah.
I don't think I should cancel out the middle one. I think he actually is what made happen. They had got it under control, but then this guy in 28 weeks later is what made 28 years later happen.
That's fair enough. But we do have to move to our favorite segment, the Franklin Award, for the character we were actually rooting to get murdered. I have my own, but I won't lead off. Do you guys have anyone?
I didn't, honestly.
Yeah.
No, so Virginia Sled, do you have anyone? Because I got one.
I don't know, whoever that bitch ass dude is in the first one, who's like hiding in fucking under the sink.
The soldier?
Yeah.
There's always one in every British movie. There's always that goofy looking dude that's like like Ichabod Crane.
So
like it's always like, yeah, sir. He doesn't have a chin.
Mine is something that I thought Sled might have this take, but it turns out he didn't. But so I'm glad it's just me.
I might hate him too. I got a lot of people I hate.
You already told me you liked him. Dr. Kelson, Ralph Fiennes from 28 years later.
He was a good guy.
You hated him.
So here's the thing. This fucking goofball.
I mean, he definitely should have died. I mean,
aside from the fact that he should have died, he deserved to die. He spent years fucking commingling with these murderous zombies. He won't kill them. He only wants to hang out with them. Do you know how much he could have done good-wise in terms of getting the entire country out of quarantine over these years? He could have told someone, anyone, perhaps a political figure, if there are any remains, military figures, or just people from tribe to tribe. Hey, guys, just iodine. Just like douse yourself in iodine. You could like be invisible. And also, here's a concoction that I made. Simple, 2 parts fucking beer, 2 parts whatever, and some corn syrup, and you can fucking shoot tranq darts and they'll be just fine. And then you can just pacify them and you can chop their heads off. He doesn't do any of that. In fact, when the alpha zombie comes sprinting at him, he has him tranked, standing there, and then passes out. It doesn't kill him. That guy was trying to kill everyone. And then
say that even in the beginning, the chimps, aren't they supposed to be under a calming thing?
Yeah. I couldn't figure that out.
Like, oh, they're under whatever.
An inhibitor. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got an inhibitor. No, I don't know. No, Kelson should die. But I guess I'm alone on that. Questions. Did we have any questions while we watched the movies, whether they're legitimate logistical questions or just silly offhand observations? That
I got a million of logistical questions. I mean,
oh, Jesus. Well, my question was this, which I guess is sort of rhetorical at this point, but why didn't they just stay in that cabin or house at the end of 28 days? Shelter, vehicle, transportation, supplies, perfect. Rescued by the military plane, which means they fucking learned nothing. Why not stay there?
Hemorrhaging blood. Like, if the infected are hemorrhaging blood.
Yeah.
All right. No. Okay, get away from them. Like, and also, why do they... Maybe they could answer this. Why do they only attack people who are not infected? Like what? Like it's a rage virus. Why do they like only attack it? Like it's like they're fine. Like wouldn't they just be like? I mean, that's kind of a thing of fast acting viruses. It's not as dangerous because it's everyone kills it. Like if you're a fucking lunatic, you're gonna kill everyone around you. It's not like we're just. I mean, that was a big thing with AIDS versus Ebola. You don't have to be crazy. It's just it has a long time to be in place. Like whereas if you're puking blood and you have blood coming out of your eyes, well, people are gonna be like, "Oh, get the fuck away from me."
I think it's funny.
I don't need to get infected for that long. Like
It's funny that you mentioned Ebola because I know Garland. I think they modeled it on Ebola. And Garland actually speaking, I should have thrown this in tidbits, but with the Ebola thing that he was playing around with he actually decided to write this movie while playing Resident Evil, which sort of informed. Oh man, yeah, I miss
plays Resident Evil.
What's that?
Have y'all played?
I just remember a buddy in college playing it. I remember watching it over his shoulder.
It's an amazing game. It's one of the few games I played that it's like, it's scary. Like it has good, like it's like it's like when you play it.
Was actually pretty scary, I thought, and that was the one I had on PlayStation.
But all right. Other questions? I had a question from, which I think I already posed, and I don't know if we got an answer, but was this in 28 years later, was the zombie woman, did we assume that they were fucking while they were zombies, or that she was pregnant from before she turned?
I thought so, but I don't know. You know, I don't have any idea.
You thought so to which?
Oh, years?
That the zombies were fucking. Like they hit.
Well, they must have been, unless she was holding a baby for 28 years. I mean, who was she fucking?
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. Right, so she must have been right. Okay, I didn't even think of that. Well, shit, man. I hope we explore that in this new trilogy.
Definitely fucking Samson's. That was Samson's baby.
I mean, do you see that dick? He probably impregnated.
That was my assumption.
Probably knocked up half the countryside of zombies. Now, here's an interesting thing.
He was the Genghis Khan of zombies.
With the differentiation of the zombies, the slow movers, remember the rotund ones who would eat worms and shit and crawl around, and then the fast ones?
Yeah.
I mean, that's very much like, it's basically different. It's sort of, I was thinking of COVID and how the different strains have different symptoms, and how the virulence and the and the transmissibility, all of those things vary.
Soft ass pass, honestly, for how are these fuckers still alive 28 years later? What the fuck are they eating?
Worms and shit, right? That's what they're doing.
Well, like,
it's actually kind of an ingenious idea for sequels, is to take characters from the from the first outbreak and the different ways that those characters dealt with the outbreak.
Well, it's addressed, Sled. How are they surviving? It's addressed in 28 Days Later, where they take one of the former.
Why is the so big? You know, that's what I know. That dude's getting a lot of calories.
Who? So they take a soldier who's infected and they chain him up, and they want to see how long it will take for him to starve to death, so they have an idea of what they can do and how they can kill people.
Yeah, but I thought that dude is eating worms.
Yeah. Maybe they were fucking feeding him there. I don't know.
There's got to be like goddamn worms.
It was. All right. Anyone have any other questions, or are we moving on?
Moving on.
Nah, I don't have anything.
All right, I'm going to close her out then, boys and ladies. Thanks once again for joining us and chopping it up. It does feel great to be back to our full-length eps, and we hope you guys found the conversation entertaining and informative. Let's stay tuned for our next step, where we'll be chopping up Clive Barker's 1987 classic Hellraiser. We're going to compare through lines and themes with another Barker vehicle, Nightbreed, from 1990. Lots of blood and high body counts for these, so keep an eye out. And make sure you get outside to enjoy the fall weather and all that good stuff with Halloween. Steal your kids' Halloween candy, whatever you got to do. And remember, if you have any questions or movie pairing suggestions, you can shoot us an email at choppingituppod@gmail.com. Again, that's choppingituphorrorpod@gmail.com. Or you can message us via Instagram at choppingituphorrorpod. And you can now also find us on Blue Sky at Chopping It Up. We are up on all major streaming services, including Spotify, Amazon, Apple, etc. If you want to take a look at our ugly mugs, you can also check us out on YouTube. All right, folks, we will see you next time on Chopping It Up.
Well, I think Bell's got a point. If you look at the whole life of the planet, man, has only been around for a few blinks of an eye. So if the infection wipes us all out, that is a return to normality.